Hello, students. Today we're going to talk about the introduction to the mental health unit. There's a couple things that I want to make sure we understand as we go into this unit because it might be difficult for some people. So let's take a look um, at what we've got. First of all, why do we have these agreements? Well, we're going to do agreements and then we're also going to talk a little bit about mental health just to introduce you to the concept. So, first of all, I want everybody to be comfortable in the classroom. Everyone has the right to learn. If one person knows a lot, another person doesn't know a lot about the topic, and another person pretends that they know more than they really do. I just want everybody to feel comfortable and learn. Everyone has the right to privacy and respect. If somebody is sharing something, it isn't something that gets brought outside the room. Everyone has the right to express their opinion, and it's okay if their opinion is different than yours. Everybody should be comfortable asking questions. And I want to make sure um, everyone feels comfortable and they're in an environment free of stigma. So let's take a look at mental health by the numbers a little bit here. These numbers are from NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and we'll talk more about that on the next slide. But as you can see, when you look at these numbers, 1 in 5 US adults, 1 in 20 US adults experience serious mental illness, and 17% of youth experience a mental health disorder. So this is not something that's rare. You're not alone, and mental illnesses are prevalent across the country, across all sorts of age groups and demographic groups. Here you see an interesting diagram that illustrates the prevalence of common mental illnesses in adults. And you see that most prevalent is anxiety disorders and depression. Those are the most common. Okay, so NAMI is, like I said, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. They are a fabulous source of really good information. They do research studies and um, educate people and try to advocate against stigma, which we'll learn about in 1 second. And here's their values: vision, mission, and values. So, stigma. What is stigma? Well, it's when somebody views somebody in a negative way because they have a mental health condition. So, if someone had a broken arm, you wouldn't think any less of them for having a broken arm. But some people, pardon me, it's in the middle of my recording. Um, some people describe stigma as a feeling of shame, like they're being judged by somebody because of a mental health issue. And navigating life with a mental health condition is hard enough, but to add the blame and the secrecy and the judgment of stigma onto that can really, really challenge people. This is a link to NAMI. I'm going to have this slideshow available to you in Schoology, so you can take a look at that. Is a particular page in the NAMI website that talks just about stigma. All right, so how to avoid stigma. It's important, but let's take a look at the effects of stigma. People experiencing mental health conditions often face rejection, and it makes it difficult to recover. It can make that journey more difficult for them. Mental health conditions are not unusual. They're the leading cause of disability across the United States. Even though most people can be successfully treated, okay, mental health illness or mental illnesses are diagnosable and treatable. But that stigma can hold people back from seeking the help they really need. And the average delay between symptoms and getting intervention is 8 to 10 years. So people aren't recognizing that they have an actual illness early on. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for youth, 15 to 24. So let's listen to Chris Hubbard talk about tackling mental health stigma.
This is home for me, man, and a lot of memories, a lot of friends, a lot of family, and it's just a blessing to be back here to see Columbus grow in such a way. Well, if you like seeing classic rare cars, drinking a cup of Joe, and supporting a good cause, well, you're in luck. The Cars and Coffee Rally in support of mental health awareness is making its way to Columbus. It's hosted by Cleveland Browns offensive tackle Chris Hubbard. He joins us now to tell us all about it.
I was so excited to hear about Chris Hubbard coming to town because, people know who he is. He's kind of like a hometown hero. He went to Carver High School. And the fact that he's brave enough to talk about such a taboo subject as mental illness, that's even greater. I think there are a lot more ears that listen. It's like, wow, you came from here and you're struggling with a mental illness, but you're successful and you're thriving, so I can do well. And students and the community in general, they tend to listen to stuff like that.
Just seeing the high school the way it is now, it's emotional because you've seen how much it has grown. It's way better than what we had it. Way better. No, man, we have none of this. None of this. I know we were told that if you're going through something, you might want to push through it. Nothing's wrong with you. Be a man. And we never realize it until we get to this deep point in life to where we're like, man, something is going on wrong with me. Another note, man, I want y'all to know about mental health too, man. Mental health is serious, man. Whatever, like, if you're dealing with like anything as far as like depression or anxiety or anything like that in your life, like mental health, like I've been through it myself because football like really wears on you, man. It really does. Like it takes you away from your family most of all, and then as well as like you putting your body on the line too. So every day you come to work, man, you got to deal with these hostile environments, going through different stages in life. You might be dealing with depression or anxiety, but I had to get some help.
It really touched his heart to be able to go back and have that opportunity to kind of let these young men know, hey, listen, I'm just like you. I saw how it's important to him to break down that stigma, especially in the African American community, especially African American males, on how we're just supposed to hold everything up and just suck it up. That's that old school mentality where it actually builds up inside and it creates a lot of stress, which then in turns into the depression.
Take care of yourself. Talk to somebody if you're going through a counselor or anything, because like you might not know you're going through it, but at that time I was like, man, I'm a dude, man, I'm a man, like I can deal with it myself. But at the same time, I was losing weight. I was 305. I lost weight in like a month, bro. Like 28, I went down to like 275. So I had to get all my weight back from dealing with stress and anxiety and going through the different roles and depression and stuff like that. So
you can see on a daily basis the issues that we have to deal with in regards to mental health, and for him to take on that issue, it means a great deal to us.
Seeing the young students here today at Carver Columbus High School, I saw myself sitting in one of those seats, and just to be able to talk among those guys brought me back a lot of memories of how I was in school and how I dealt with a lot of things going on.
We hear about bullying, we hear about peer pressure, we hear about problems with people being bullied because of their sexuality.
Just seeing my friend grow through that, yeah, it was pretty tough. He liked other men, so that's kind of why they picked on him, because of what he went through. But he dealt with a lot of things at home as well too. It's not just as far as bullying at school, but he dealt with everything at home. Like I used to talk to him and try to figure out what's going on, but he was just so sheltered into the fact that he wasn't gonna let that come out. He was always holding something behind and just keeping it to himself. And then next thing you know, that suicide happened. So
In my experience, talking to African American youth, it's just overcoming that stigma. Whereas, maybe their parents may not necessarily believe or understand what mental illness is. They kind of get it and they want to get help, but they don't really know who to talk to about getting help and where to go to get help.
Opened my eyes to a lot of it. Now I understand it's not, like I said, somebody's crazy.
Oh, no.
That's the first thing.
No,
Oh, she's
no.
mental.
Yeah.
That's what you think.
Right.
That's what my thought process was a long time ago. But when he started, it's like, oh, wow, it just brought more awareness to me. Really did. It helped me to understand more.
And so where will the proceeds go?
the proceeds will go to NAMI. Everything that we're raising will go straight to them, and we just want to see it happen and raise as much as possible.
Great. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, the Cars and Coffee Rally. We hope everybody will come out and support mental health.
I'm hyped to be here, man. I'm excited to be here. Man, this is what it's all about, man.
We were out there 6:30 in the morning. The NAMI crew came through. We set up the table. Everybody started popping their hoods, getting the music going. Chris was in heaven.
Oh yeah, man. Got the jersey.
We had a great day in regards to fundraising and people supporting the event.
Appreciate what you're doing. Yes, sir, man. I'm glad you brought the rounds out here, man. We're just trying to raise that awareness for mental health and just have a good time as well.
It takes a brave man to really, especially a football player, an NFL player, to come out and kind of admit to having mental illness issues and most importantly, finding help for it. And there's a lot of them out there that have these issues. And I'm very proud of Chris being brave enough to really shed light on it, but then also tell his personal story about that.
I got you, bro. I got you. Come on, look at the camera. Look. Anyone that's dealing with mental health today, just know your voice is always meant to be heard. You're not alone in this world. There's a million people that's going through the same thing you may be going through, and it's many ways and different things that you can do in your life that can help you get out of that depression, that hole that you may be in. Just know that we are here to help you, and NAMI is going to continue to help as much as possible.
Okay, so Chris Hubbard has some great things to say. Let's get back to class now and talk about the 4 agreements as we go through the mental health unit. The first one is about just the facts. I'm not going to ask you for personal information. That's not appropriate. If you want to share, that's absolutely up to you. You're not being asked to share anything with the class that is personal. And I don't expect that you'll ask me for any personal information. That's not appropriate either. And don't ask each other for personal information. If a friend wants to share something, they will. But let's try to keep things just factual in the classroom if we can, just to make sure people are comfortable. Agreement number 2, please ask questions. There's a lot of things that you don't know. There's a lot of things that you think you know. You've heard that that person said this person said that person happened. There's a lot that you hear about. There's a lot of messages about mental illness and mental health issues in the media, some of them accurate, some of them not. So these are all really good reasons to ask questions. And one of the other things we're going to do is get on board all sorts of resources for you that'll give you accurate and good information about mental health. Agreement number 3, our classroom is a judgment-free zone. All right? There might be people here that are really hurting. There might be people that have issues of their own, or they have a close family member or friend who has taken their life, we just don't know what's happening with our classmates. We don't know other people's situations. So this is a place where we are kind and we do not have any stigmas in this room. All right. So, why do we have the mental health unit? To give students accurate information about different mental illnesses and mental health issues. We're going to try to dispel those myths that are out there. It's an opportunity to understand and empathize with other people. So, you're going to be learning some skills on how to help people who might be challenged with a mental illness. And it's to provide you resources and information so you can advocate for mental health, not only for yourself, but for other people. So I have compiled, and like I said, this slideshow is available for you in Schoology. I've compiled a list of student support services here at Armstrong. And as you can see, it's pretty long. We have a lot of great people here working specifically toward helping you stay mentally healthy. We also have a school-based mental health service through People Incorporated. So we have um, a therapist here at Armstrong that's that is here full time through a grant through the Minnesota Department of Human Services. So it's an on-site mental health therapist. That's her contact information. And finally, some bigger resources in Hennepin County. First of all, obviously, if you've got immediate concerns of the physical safety of anyone, call 911. Then, if you or anyone in your family need urgent medical health evaluation, call ahead to the hospital or clinic. And then there's also a service called Hennepin County Mobile Crisis. This is their contact information. This is also part of the Hennepin County Mobile um, Crisis. Then the National Suicide Prevention Line and something called the Minnesota Warm Line, where they have certified peer specialists that are there to listen. So that's your introduction to mental health. I hope you are well, and we will move forward with open minds and kind hearts. Later.